Welcome in the 14th episode. Today we will implement the endgame screen. Our game is currently in the playable state, so that means the puzzler spawn you can search for the pair. Once the pair is found, is removed from the game, but there is no way to tell if the game has finished or not. So today we will implement the endgame screen and then check if the game has ended. Okay, so let's get started. Let's open our project. And then first of all, let's go to the scenes folder and then game scene. Let's reveal the canvas elements, right click on the canvas, UI and then panel. And I will name this panel endgame panel. Then let's click on our source image and make sure you have this background sprite selected, which should be right at the bottom. And then let's select the scene tab. And I will just set this panel to be a bit smaller than our scene. So I just grab the top corner and then maybe set it like that. And then let's do it the same from the bottom. So, okay. So let's see how this looks. I think that looks okay. So we know where the panel is. Now let's right click on this endgame panel and then UI image. And just name this image to be well done. And then let's set the sprite. So I will go to our resources, graphics, game, UI graphics. And then let's find the well done writing. So just grab it and then drop it onto the source image. Then press the set native size. And I will set the scale to be 0.25 and 0.25. Okay, and maybe on the z-axis as well, 0.25. And then I will just move it up to be at the top of this panel. Okay, then right click on this endgame panel and then UI image. And I will name this image the best score. Let's find your best scored writing and then drag and drop it into the source image. Click set native size and then set the scale to be 0.25. 0.25. Okay, I think it needs to be a bit smaller. Let's try 0.1 and then 0.1. Okay, maybe 0.15. So 0.15 is looking okay. Okay, and then I will move it a bit up. So maybe here. And then let's add another image. So right click on the endgame panel, UI image, and then I will name this image your time. And then let's apply the sprite your time writing. Drag and drop it onto the source image, set native size, and let's set size to be 0.25. 0.25. Okay, and then move it up on the same position as your best time. So this we will change this writing based on the results from your game. So let's disable the best score. Okay, so we have just your time text displayed. Let's right click on the endgame panel and now let's select the UI text and then I will name this text current time. Okay, and then let's position it. Maybe let's change the text first to be 00.00. Let's change make sure the font is set to Arial. Then font style, I will leave it normal. Then font size, maybe let's try 40. As you see, the text disappeared. This is because the text is bigger than the box around it. So I will just change this width to be 200 and height to be 150. Okay, we can see the time is there. And let's now position it below your time text, maybe here. Okay, and now let's add two buttons. So right click on the endgame panel, UI button. And this is going to be the back button. Let's remove the text component. So I will just select the text and then press delete key. And then let's add another button. So endgame, right click on an endgame panel, UI button. And this is gonna be scores button. Okay, and then let's remove the text component as well. Select the scores button, and let's find under our game UI graphics, let's find the score button image, and then drag and drop this image onto the source image, and then press set native size. Okay, and I will change the width and the height to be 100 by 100. Okay, it doesn't really matter if you manipulate the width and the height, or you can change this, or changing the scale. The only point is you need to make sure you're keeping the same aspect ratio. So either way is fine. I will just move this button down and move it maybe here, and then positioned on the side. And then let's apply the graphics for the back button. So select the back button, and then let's find the back sprite. So back button sprite, drag and drop it, set native size, and I will set the same width and the height, so 100 by 100, and then move it down and move it on the side. Okay, so I think that looks good. And this is our endgame screen. So we need to display the current time. This sprite will be changed based on your results. And that's it. Okay, so let's select the endgame panel. And now let's disable it, so it's not appear in the game. And then let's select the file and save. So save the scene. And now let's go to our scripts folder and select our picture manager and open the script. Let's go right at the top, and then I will create two variables. So first one will be private int, and I will call it pair number, and then private int removed pairs. Okay, and then we need to create some public variables for our endgame. So let's scroll up where we have the public variables. So below the picture prefab, add space. Okay, so we're gonna separate it, and then I will add the header. And let's put the name of the header to be endgame screen. Okay, and then let's create a public game object, endgame panel, public game object, new best score text, public game object, then your score text, and then public game object and time text. Okay, so this is all variables which we need to cache from the editor. And now let's scroll down to our start method, and then in the start method let's first of all set our pairs, our removed pairs, to be equal to 0, and then below I will set our pair numbers to be equal to, let's cast it to int, and let's call the game settings dot instance dot get pair number. Okay, so as you see, this function returning the enum, and our enum holds the value. So this is the reason why we set the value for the enum. So for the 10 pair we set the value 10, for 15 15, and for 20 pairs we set the value 20. If you will not set this value here, you will have the false results, because by default all of the enums are indexed from the 0 to 1, so we have the 0 1 2 3 but we want to have 10, 15, and 20. Okay, so make sure you have the numbers in the enum set, the same as me. And now let's go back to our picture manager and let's carry on with this implementation. Okay, so let's go to our update method. And inside the update method, when we destroying the picture, we're gonna check if the game has ended. So I will just create a function check game end. Okay, and let's implement this function now. So I'll just copy this name, and below the update method I will call private bool check game end, and inside this function let's check if our removed pairs is equal to pair number and current game state is not equal to game state dot game end. Okay, and then if this is the case, we're gonna set our current game state to be equal to game state dot game end, and then we need to stop our timer. So first of all, we need to actually cache our timer from the editor. So let's scroll up again and let's create one more variable. So right at the bottom of these variables, I will just create another private timer. Game timer, okay? And then inside the start method, before reloading the materials, I will just call the game timer to be equal to game object dot find, and then let's put the main camera dot get component, and we want to get component timer. Okay, we need to find the main camera because our timer script is attached to the main camera in the game scene. Okay, so once we have the timer, let's actually go quickly to our timer class. So let's open the timer class, and then we need to create a few functions here. So the first one will be get current time. So right at the bottom, I will call public float get current time, and we're just gonna return our timer. Okay, so as you see, the timer is a float variable, and then another function will be public void stop timer, and this function will set our stop timer to be equal to true. Okay, so once the endgame pop-up will appear, we will stop our timer in the game. Okay, so let's save it and let's go back to our picture manager, and let's go back to our function. So check game end. If we remove the same number of the pairs as the pairs in the game, we want to set the current game state to game end, and then we want to get the game timer dot stop timer. So we're going to stop our timer, and then at the end we will return, and then we can do, because we want to return the boolean variable, so we can do the check. So if the current game state is equal, make sure you put double equal sign, game state dot game end. Okay, so this statement will check if this state is equal to game end. Okay, and then return true or false accordingly. So we're calling this check game end in our update method, and then right below the flip back condition, we will add another, inside our update method, we will add another if statement, and then current game state is equal to game end, And then we want to check if our picture list at first revealed picture dot game object dot self active self is equal to false, and the picture list at second revealed picture dot game object dot active self is equal to false, so two pictures are disabled, and endgame panel dot active self is equal to false, so the endgame panel is not visible yet. We want to call the function show endgame information, okay? And let's create this function. So below our check game end, I will create another private bool show endgame information, and then let's implement this function quickly. So inside this function we're gonna call the endgame panel dot set active to be true, and then var timer will be equal to game timer dot get current time var minutes will be equal to mat f dot floor, and then there's gonna be timer divided by 60 var seconds will be equal to mat f dot round to int, and then this is gonna be the timer modulo 60, and then var new text will be equal to minutes dot toString, and then let's put the 00 plus colon, and then plus seconds dot toString, and let's put the format to be 00, okay? And let's grab our end game timer end time text dot get component text. Okay, as you see, the text is not recognized. This is because we need to include Unity Engine UI. So before we continue, let's go right at the top, and then let's put using Unity Engine .ui, and then let's go back to our function. Okay, as you see, the text is fine now. So let's continue. So endtime text dot get component text dot text will be equal to new text. Okay, so we're just gonna set the text for our timer. And of course, we don't want to return bool, we want to return void. Okay, so we don't want to return anything. And I think that's it. Let's save everything now. And actually, before we going back to editor, let's put one more thing in the show endgame information. We want to grab your text, your score text dot set active to be true. Okay, so for now we're just gonna activate the your score text, and later when we implement our scoreboard, we're gonna compare if our new time is the best or is not, and according to that we're gonna change the sprite. So let's save everything now, and then let's go back to Unity, and let's click on our picture manager object in our game scene, and we need to assign those variables now. So let's first of all grab our endgame panel and drop it onto endgame panel. Then a new best score text. This is gonna be our best score. your score text, that's gonna be your time, and then end time text is gonna be our current time. Okay, so make sure you have everything assigned. Now we can go to the file, save the scene, and let's go back to our scenes folder. Let's open the main menu, and now we have to test it. So I will just start the game. Let's try 10 pairs, and now we need to actually find all of the pairs. So okay, as you see, I have the last pair now, so the pair is removed, and our endgame panel is not enabled. Okay, so there is something wrong. Let's go back to our script again. Okay, and in our picture manager class, we actually forgot to do one thing. So we never set our removed pairs. We never increased this variable. So let's grab this variable and let's go back to our destroy picture. So destroy picture function. And whenever we're destroying the pictures, we need to increase the pair number. So under the revealed picture number, I will just put the removed picture, removed pairs, ++. Okay, make sure you put this variable inside the destroy picture. Okay, and now let's save everything, and now let's go back to Unity, and we have to test this game again. So let's play 10 pairs, and let's find all of the pairs. Okay, so as you see, our end game is fine now, and we have our current time. So your time is 51 seconds, and is matching exactly the game timer. Okay, so now from here we can go back to our main menu, or we should go back to our score. So let's add the implementation for these buttons now. Let's stop the game. Let's go to the end game script, to the game scene. Let's go to the canvas, end game, and then let's click on our back button. On click event, I will just click the small plus, drag and drop our main camera, and then from the functions, let's select the button behavior, load scene, and I will just put this scene to be main menu. Main menu. Let's save everything. We will not put any implementation on the scores yet because we don't have a scores scene. So this is the scene we're gonna add later, and then we're gonna finish implementing this button. Just for now, we have this sprite which will not do anything. Okay, so if you go back to the main menu, if you start your game, and when you finish your game, you will be able to go back to our main menu scene. So you can test it yourself now. So I think that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this episode and this series, please consider subscribing to this channel and leave a like. If you have any problem, as always, please leave me a message in the comments below, and I will try to help you out. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again in the next episode.